I've been thinking a lot about the king archetype recently. How the king, he disciplines, he provides order, and he gives blessings to his people, right? And everybody knows that in the chess game, you cannot win when the king is out of the game. You just can't. It's just the way that the game is played, right? And I was thinking also about how the psyop today that is going on for not having an ego is very, very damaging to harness the king archetype. Because if you don't know how to harness the king archetype through your ego to some degree, you're not going to be able to protect. You're not going to be able to provide blessings. You're not going to be able to have the discernment to move in the world. And so I genuinely believe that it is a psyop for not just new age spirituality, because it's like all of these power figures in society are now turning on each other, right? That's what it looks like. Now, is that part of the chess game that they're playing? God only knows. You know, I don't really trust anybody that is in the government. I don't really trust anybody that is in political power, because politics is just a dirty game. It's dirty business too. And you know, you have to have an ego, though, when you're in that kind of position, any kind of position of power. And if you really want to make a move on your throne at some point in your life as a man, specifically as a man, but even as a woman, I think it's important to have an ego. But to be selfish and to have an ego, I think people get kind of confused about this. And the reason being is because we're taught to be selfless, right? Oh, be more selfless, be more compassionate. It's like, why do you think that being selfless and being compassionate are one and the same thing? I don't think they're one and the same thing at all. At all. Because you have to be living your life based on the presupposition that you are to be less of yourself to be more for somebody else. I don't think that's true compassion at all, because compassion means to suffer with. And if you're going to be able to suffer with somebody, you've got to be there to be suffering with them, right? You've got to know what it's like internally. You have to be in touch with your internals to really get a good understanding of how you want to live your life. And a lot of people don't want to live their life this way. They don't want to live a compassionate life because it requires them to be more in tune with these more mature versions of harnessing these archetypes. Now, for anybody that is not aware of the archetypes, the archetypes are, you can think about them as personalities that are in a fight for trying to dominate your ability to be in the world. So let's take like some basic archetypes such as the king, the warrior, the magician, the lover. And for women, it's basically just the mere reflection of those. So the queen, the warrior, she's not really more of a warrior. She's more of a, I don't know what you call it, not an Amazonian like Wonder Woman, but she still has the ability to be a warrior. And you know, there's nothing wrong with a woman being able to harness that archetype. In fact, I think men and women, more in mankind, like in our species, we're meant to be more like lions than we're meant to be like other animals. And I don't mean that because, you know, they're just a majestic animal or whatnot, but that's part of it. But because lionesses, they can be badasses, okay? They know how to actually fight. They really know how to stand up for themselves, but they're also able to be submissive to the pride leaders, the males, because the males are stronger and they're bigger, just like men usually are for women in the human species. I'm getting over this sickness. I've got some lemon tea here that I made, and it's like every now and again there's just that little clearing of the throat that I have to do. So my apologies for that, but we'll carry on with the video. So where was I? Oh yeah, lionesses and lions. So we're also meant to be more social. Like, a king is supposed to know his subjects to a degree, right? If you don't know the people, like, think about this, right? Do you know the people in your environment? Do you know, like, and I'm not saying you have to be all buddy friends with them all the time, but are you able to say hello? Are you able to say, hey, how you doing? Like, and just talk to the people, Do you know how to do that? Do you have basic social skills in which you're not trying to step on people's toes for no reason? You're not excessively vulgar. You're not excessively profane. You're not like, I don't think that stuff is a bad thing necessarily, but I think there's a time and a place, And so you know how to behave in situations. You know how to be sophisticated. You know how to be civilized, right? You know how to be civilized. And I think that part of harnessing the king archetype is understanding that you as a person, you need the ego to make you a better king, to make you a better man. You need the ego. You have to know who you are to some degree and know what you want. Because what is the ego? It's what I want, it's what I desire, it's what I like, it's what I don't like. It's all about me in some degree, right? But the thing is having a healthy ego will save your life. It really will. And I know this because having a healthy ego made me a better person and made me a better man. And it's not always about like trying to be better than other people. Having an ego is like realizing that it's you against you. This is one of the reasons why I play basketball at the gym to warm up sometimes, is like, I like just me being with the ball and the basket. And when I shoot the ball, it's whether or not, it goes in or not, it's all on me. It's all on me. If I can shoot the basketball in a certain way and I can get a nice rhythm going with my shot, I know that it's like, that's me doing it. Now, obviously, if you're playing an actual game, it's a little bit different, but that's one thing I like about warming up is I get a feel for where I'm at in the game, where I'm at in my life. Like, because what my martial arts instructor taught me growing up was that your world problems or your life problems are your martial art problems. And so what I took that to mean as I grew up is that your problems in your life are going to reflect on what's going on, like in your sports, in your physical activities. For example, I've been really trying to increase my endurance lately, really trying to increase the amount of time I'm running and such. And for the last week, I haven't done nearly as much endurance and cardio because it was getting to the point to where, okay, like this is a lot. Like I'm taking less carbs. Like I've drastically reduced my carbs, and I'm drastically increasing my protein, and so my digestion is taking a little bit longer. But at the same time, it's like I need just a little bit of time for my body to adjust right now, is what I feel like. And I think that within the next couple of days, I'll be able to get back to my normal, stretching my endurance. But for the last month or two, I've been really trying to increase my endurance, and it's the same thing that's being reflected in my business, in my entrepreneurship stuff, everything like that. That has translated over into my daily life. It's like, how much endurance do you really have? How much fortitude of mind do you really have to accomplish what you want to accomplish? Can you set out to accomplish what it is you actually want to set out to accomplish or not? Can you be who you're meant to be? Can you say what you're wanting to say? Can you live as you want to live? And it takes a healthy ego to know this stuff. If you don't have a healthy ego, you're not going to know what you want to do with your life. And especially as a man, like, women are very attracted to a man that knows what he wants. And I think this is one other thing about the archetype of the king. When you have a healthy ego, you know that you lead based on love. You're not trying to control. You're not trying to force. You lead based on love. You encourage. Okay? You embolden. You make the person be inspired to be a better version of themselves. Because if you can be a king among people, if you can harness the king energy among people that want to be better, but maybe they're just, just lacking the inspiration a little bit, they're having a hard time, but you're leading the charge. You're that guy in Braveheart that is, what was his name? Oh yeah, William Wallace. You're screaming freedom while being tortured, by the enemy. That's, as terrible as it is for you, you're still giving life to what you truly believe in and what you stand in and who you are and what you're about. Like, you're not letting your principles degrade themselves or be degraded and just eroded from your overall being, because you know that being who you are and standing for what you want to stand for is going to make the world a better place. If you truly believe that, like, you are truly unstoppable. And it may not happen like in your physical life here on this planet. You may not be around to see it. But remember what in the movie Gladiator it says, it's our actions are echoed in eternity, or what we say or what we do is echoed in eternity, something like that, right? Man, we've got Braveheart and Gladiator. See, you can feel the king energy that's really emanating from me right now. I'm just really in the zone with feeling the king archetype and just letting it flow through me, because I have to remember that I am not the king, but I can harness the king energy. And even the king is below God, okay? I don't see myself as better than anybody else or worse than anybody else. I see myself as a person under God. The only person above me is God, but there's nobody below me, and there's nobody above me except Jesus Christ himself. And this is just the way that I live my life. And I'm not saying I think it's the right way, but because I know what it's given me as far as peace of mind and just a gracious point of living. Like, in the Regal Change Academy, the group that we have, many of these people that are in the group, they're not just students, okay? Because some people think that apparently, like, oh, if I join the Regal Change Academy, am I just going to be I'm going to be a student? It's like, I don't have that kind of frame of mind. I'm a teacher, but I'm also a student. And sometimes you just need to hear certain things to remind you who you really are. And that's what our group calls are for. Like, when we do those group calls and we have everybody chiming in and encouraging each other and supporting each other, but also telling each other the no BS kind of stuff. Like, do you know how refreshing that is? Do you know how nice it is to be around people that, even though they may be saying things that you don't want to hear, you're getting the truth. They're being real with you. Do you know how valuable that is? And every good leader, every good king, every good queen, no matter who you are, what you're doing, what you're watching, like how you're living your life, you need wise counsel. And this is something that the Bible talks a lot about. And the Bible also says that a wise man will open correction. But it's not always about being corrected, right? It's not always about being corrected. It's about living a life that is going to be in accordance to the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God, so that you can emanate the light of Christ in you, because you're a vessel for Him and His will. It's so powerful too, having an ego allowed me to surrender. That's weird, isn't it? It's kind of strange. It's a paradox, because you have to surrender the ego to find your ego to some degree. But in order to find your healthy ego and to create, you actually don't even find it, you create it. I think this is another thing with relationships. I don't think we find happy, healthy relationships. I genuinely think that we create them. We create them through our acts of creativity, from what we're doing, from how we're doing it, how we're living life, what we're doing exactly. It's all about the way in which you live your life. It's are you living the artistic expression of yourself through your life? I guess maybe I'm more poetic and romantic in some degree. Not necessarily, I have a romantic view of life, but not of people. I have a romantic view of self-development to some degree, but I'm not nostalgic about it, and I'm not in love with self-development. In fact, I even made a video like a month or so ago about how I've retired from self-development, or I'm just done with self-development. But it doesn't mean that I'm done with self-development. Again, the paradox. I'm done with trying to be self-developing. I just am now. I don't need to think about things. I know that I'm to a place now where if I'm plugged into God Himself all the time, as often as I can, I know that Jesus Christ will guide me to be doing what I need to be doing. I know that He will guide me to show me what I have to be living and the ways in which I need to be living in my life. I have to move a certain way. I have to. And it's okay. I don't need to have all of these strange, weird things to do that are in the name of self-development anymore. I just don't need that. What I need is to just be who I am. That's all I need to do. That's all I've ever needed to do. But it takes certain experiences to get to this point. And this is why having an ego made me a better person. Having an ego made me a better man. And it's because now I know how to protect myself. I know how to stand up for myself. I know how to stand for something bigger than myself. And I know how to live what is true and let die what is false. So with all that being said, I hope this message was useful and insightful for you. If you do want to schedule a free 15-minute call to join the Regal Change Academy, check out the link in the description box below. And then if you want to schedule a one-on-one mentorship call with me, you can also email me at regalchange@gmail.com. And I think we're going to close it out right there. Peace be with you all. Until next time.